Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Panama Cross Talks. I'm your host, Eric, and we're looking forward to a invigorating conversation with someone who chose Panama as their home. So, without further ado, let's bring her on. Welcome, Julie, to Panama Cross Talk.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So, tell the folks a little bit about yourself right off, so they can kind of get to know who you are.
Sure. Well, I'm Julie, and my background is I'm originally from Florida most of my life and lived there as an educator, proud alum of USF, Go Bulls, and have two beautiful daughters. I have a 21, recently turned 21-year-old, and a 18-year-old. They're both now in college, so that leaves my husband and I here in Panama. Sin children, no children. So it's been an adjustment for us, but we came to Panama about 2.5 years ago, not completely random. My husband his mom's side of the family is Panamanian. So he spent many a summers here in Panama, obviously speaking the language, knowing the culture, and then so we would come and visit every so often. And my first time visiting was right when we first got married, and I fell in love with the country. I thought, wow, this is such a relaxed, Zen place, just we
Right.
were out in, I'm trying to remember, I think we were in the interior, and I just remember looking up at the sky and seeing all the beautiful stars and thought, wow. So fast forward 2023, we decided to bite the bullet and make a move here. My husband has a business here, so in order for us to hopefully potentially retire, we needed to make that work. So we live right now in Ciudad de Sevilla, which is right on the park, and he can walk or scooter to work, and trying to, make this thing happen. So eventually we can settle and, relax and have some more free time.
Excellent, excellent. So, has Panama met your expectations as you kind of viewed moving here?
Yes, and absolutely yes. And I don't want to qualify that with a yes, but um, for me particularly, it was an adjustment just because I was new to the country. My husband, Chuck, he's been here. So he has kind of assimilated a little bit differently. And my younger daughter she finished her last 2 years of high school here. So it was
Oh,
really right. So she went to Balboa High School her last 2 years. So really, it was the two of us who are clearly do not look Panamanian. I mean, the second people look at us, they immediately start speaking English. So it was an adjustment for me just because I was so used to the fast pace of the United States.
right.
Independence. I could go anywhere at any time on my own. Wasn't really reliant on anybody. And so when we came here, it was kind of like, oh, yeah, that's going to take some time. Um, so I think just learning how things happen here, a little
Hmm.
bit very chill, very on Panama time, as they say,
Right.
um, and becoming more acclimated to the culture. The people are great. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody we've met, Panamanian, non-Panamanian, just I've made some friends with some amazing people here. So the community is really what makes it. And I think is what really helped carry me through that transition of being kind of just, put into the country. But, I think the things that we love about it are the tranquility. I mean, just it does take some adjustment, learning how to kind of slow down a little bit and accept that. And coming from the fast paced environment that I was in professionally and personally, it was definitely a shift for
Right,
sure.
right. So interesting point that you brought up, having your daughter. How what was it like when you said, "Hey, we're going to move down to another country"? How did she take it, and how is she acclimated to her surroundings?
So it was an interesting circumstance. I lost my job and I was the teach. I was not teaching. I was an educator at their high school in Tampa. My oldest one was graduating, and the job market in my area was challenging to find. And my youngest daughter was on board with saying, "I'm willing to kind of try something different." Um, so in March of 2023, we said, "Why don't we just go take a look and see if you would like living in Panama and see if we like the school, with the neighborhood." So we came down here by ourselves without my husband, the two of us, and we toured Balboa. His cousin, Chuck's cousin, was kind enough to kind of chauffeur us around a bit with somebody to give us a look at some of the housing and surrounding areas. But she and I were pretty much on our own to see if could we manage, could we like it here. And I think we were just both taken back by, again, just the tranquility, the beauty of the area, where particularly where we are. There's so much to do. There's a lot of good community, good activities. And so we came back and we were like, yeah, I think this is a good idea. So she embraced it fully. My older one was less on board because she was now embarking on her college journey. So
Right.
she was losing her home essentially. And so coming home was now going to mean coming home here. So that took a little bit more convincing, and now we laugh about it. But when we first moved here, in 23, it was literally, it happened so fast. I mean, March we visited, we were here by July.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
sold our
Huge
house.
turnaround. Quick turnaround.
Yes, yes. I don't even think we had time to breathe. I mean, we were just on, like, my husband was on trying to make things happen, getting movers, trying to figure out how to ship everything. I mean, it was just so fast. And my oldest daughter's high school graduation at the same time. So we had lots of moving parts.
Okay.
And yeah, so when we arrived here, we were, the stories are that your furniture doesn't always come when it's supposed to come. So we
Right.
were here with air mattresses and, our electronic devices for entertainment, a dog and a cat, for probably about, well, probably about 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Right.
So um, then I had to take my oldest to college, and um, then my youngest one started. So it literally was it. It all kind of just happened so fast.
So is there a big time? Is there a huge age gap between your daughters, or
Just 2 years.
just 2 years? So the
Hmm.
youngest kind of went along with the flow, and of course, having pre a teenager saying, "Wait a minute, all my friends are in Florida. We're taking up and moving." So yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah. Like I
but you
said,
made
now
it
we
work.
laugh about it. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think for my youngest, it was, you know, in reality, it was kind of for her as well because, where she was, it was a change for her, and it wasn't. I don't really want to say too much, but it wasn't where she wanted to finish high school. Let's just put it that way. And so, thankfully, coming here, I think it had given her an opportunity to experience life, culture. She embraced all things, Panama. She jumped right in. Um, met some amazing friends who, she stays connected with. And it's such a global community that, she's
Right.
meeting people from all over.
Right.
So that was worth it all in itself, really,
Right.
just to see her flourish that way.
That's an excellent perspective because a lot of people are wondering how I have kids. How can this work? And I can look at it and say one thing and think another because my father was in the service and all our family was in the service, so we constantly moved and picked up and met new friends and we did fine. I wouldn't have it any other way when I look back on it. And some people just don't even leave their own city or zip code, so uh, kids will adapt a whole lot better than adults actually do. But so your kids adapted and did great and flourished. Is your daughter speaking Spanish or?
She's doing really well. She is. She took AP Spanish in high school, and she managed to pass the AP exam so she could get college credit for her Spanish. I think
Okay.
she's considered either. I think they consider her fluent is her category. So, she's like I think most bilingual students is they're willing to hear it, but sometimes less reluctant to speak it.
Hmm.
So, um, they kind of rely on me to make the stupid mistakes and sound stupid because I'm like, oh, you just have to try. I mean,
That's
like
that's it. It just when you rode a bike, you fell over until you figured
exactly,
it out. So that's
exactly.
when it comes to languages. I especially North Americans, that they just don't want to sound stupid, nor do they want to make mistakes. But that's going to happen, and you're not just gonna. I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to just turn it on, and I'm going to be excellent. I'm not
Exactly.
going to make word. I'm like, come on. I mean, knowing your nouns,
Yeah.
pronouns, that I mean, we barely know our own language and mess up, but you overlook it, right? You just like
Right.
different
Yep.
places in dialect in the U.S. Southern accents, Northern accents, Boston water. What do you mean water? So it's
Exactly.
interesting how our perspectives on language that we don't want to make mistakes, but I mean,
Yeah.
once you do that and you get corrected, it's just like any language. Then you start like okay, and you just start flowing with it, and then that
Hmm.
guard drops down, and you're just like you're speaking it a lot more. Uh, how about socially for you? How have you been able to adapt? I mean, I'm sure you had tons of girlfriends back home. You get book clubs, wine nights, and stuff like that. How have you been able to adapt and create that same kind of culture for yourself, for your own mental clarity?
I think for me it has been more of the working situation for me. You know, I'm an educator, lifetime educator. I work with students with special needs. So I had envisioned opportunities here to kind of branch out and do my own thing. Um, Maybe working with the schools, maybe working with students individually, and then just kind of like embarking on my own personal professional journey. Um, I think that's probably been more of a challenge than meeting people because let me tell you, WhatsApp, that has been a godsend.
Yeah, right.
I, I think like I joke with my husband and his cousin, who is 100% Panamanian, that whenever they have a question, they're like, well, I don't know where to find this, or I don't know how to do this. I was like, please hold. Let me ask my friends. And I throw out it on the chat, the Women of the World WOW group chat. And within minutes, I have an answer to questions that, they couldn't even find answers to. They're like, how did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. It's magic. It just happens. And so
Right.
from I met one person here. I think I went to the plaza and I saw that there was an American Society sign, and I thought, what is this about? So I reached out to the number on the poster, and sure enough, it you know ended up having lunch with the individual, And I mean, she invited me to lunch. She's from the United States, and sure enough, she's from Florida. So we had a lot to talk about. And she really was the the door that needed to open in order for me to kind of see other things. And then I met another individual, and then we went out to lunch, and it just kind of was like a trickle down effect. Once you met one person, this door opened, another door opened, and it was all through WhatsApp. Um, I kind of put the word out that, this is what I do, this is what my background is, and within minutes I had messages of how can you help, or what could you do, or could we meet. I have a child that is dyslexic, and needs some support, and it just really started to unravel. I would say probably about it took probably about 6 months, but the best advice is, wherever you go, and I'm not even sure if this is the same in any other place other than Panama. I really can't speak to that, but making that one move to reach out to one person really just spiraled into making connections and creating my own community of friends within a small pocket within the bigger scope of the community. And I've met some amazing people, amazing, amazing rock stars, where, an 82-year-old woman who joined the Peace Corps in her like 60s, traveled the world in her 60s. Another, retiree that, you know, was a journalist, and then, a writer who, these are just like rock star people that, um, you know, again, you never probably would meet in any in Florida. I don't think I would have. I don't think I had this many connections in Florida, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
right. Right.
You stay in your lane, you do your thing, and sometimes it can be, even in our neighborhood, you walk outside and everybody's in their houses, nobody's outside, and it can be very isolating. And here it's like everybody's outside, and everybody's trying to get together to do things regardless of what pocket or what area you're in, you know
Yeah.
um,
They're not
having book club.
segmented.
No, yes, it's not like, oh, you live in the suburbs, well, that's too far for us to drive to meet you.
Right. Yeah, right.
Here it's like, yeah, hop in an Uber and I'll be over in 15, 20, depending on traffic.
Yeah. It's interesting how our social connections in the States or North America were, and how you just open up to see a new reality, and learn to speak to individuals every day, because it's just it's
Yes.
the customs. And if you do that in the States, the people look at you like, I don't know you. What do you,
Hmm.
and get hostile at, that you're just saying hello to them, or what's it,
Right,
what are you trying to get? Are you so it's
right, right, for
it,
sure.
yeah. Had you used WhatsApp before moving?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Can't say that I have. maybe maybe I did have some cousins here. Maybe that's how we communicated, but it was not always open on my phone like it is now.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's definitely the thing. Well, when you learn and meet more people that live abroad, that is it's a very popular app all around the world. It's funny how just Americans just don't use it, but and then
Hmm.
find it difficult to use it once they're there. I don't. I'm like, don't fight it. This is what it is. Well, how come you can't? They just not going to use the regular texting because it's way more expensive, and they don't require it. So uh, yeah, that's very interesting. That's so, Julie. What advice would you give someone about moving to another country? Based on your experience.
I would certainly say try to make at least one connection before or as soon as you arrive. Um, Whether it's a neighbor, a passerby, or somebody within your community, whether, if there's a professional community or if you're a parent, maybe in the school community, just find one person and don't be afraid to share your story. I think that's what brings us all together here, Panamanians and, non-Panamanians. I think it's, I've even spoken to several Panamanians that, it's very comfortable to just kind of like relate. And I think we take it for granted where I'm from, particularly. It's, like I said, you stay in your lane. You don't want to overwhelm people. You don't want to burden people. But here it's more of, we're here to help. I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like. I don't know how to call Tigo. I don't know how to get a hold of a mechanic. Well, here, everybody wants to help. So don't be afraid to take the step and reach out and ask, because there are so many people here willing to help.
That is so important and very true. It's just people getting out of their shell and doing something that they're uncomfortable with doing. And
Yeah.
socializing is one of the huge things, as you can, that many people struggle with when they come to a culture that is so like connected to themselves, knowing themselves, and just loving to interact with people. So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Any closing words that you would like to share about to the viewers out that they're contemplating? They're saying, but it's another country. It's the toilet flushes and goes around a different way, or I mean, some of the some of the stuff that people ask, they're so scared
Yeah.
that it's going to be such a shift, a mind shift, that it's just going to be unbearing. But as they can see, you're doing great.
I think when people have a vision of Panama, if they've never been, or if they've never really traveled to, Central America or, South America, maybe they've, closer to the United States, they have this vision of what it's like. I think they think we literally, when I say we live in the jungle, I think they think, we have like a hut with like no air condition,
Dirt
you know?
floor.
Yes, exactly. Like, we don't have running water. We have to like go to the lake and then, sanitize it and do all the things to it. This is a civilized country. We have all of the amenities and features. It is not a third world country like people assume.
Yeah.
There are a lot of differences. There are a lot of pockets of diversity here, but I think it is in some ways there's a lot of similarities. You're not going to go without a whole lot. The biggest advice is you just have to learn to slow down a little bit. Things will happen when they happen and they will get done. But sometimes we just have to learn some patience, learn to relax a little bit, and learn to laugh at yourself, really. Just be okay
Yeah.
being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Excellent. Yeah.
Because you're not the only one. You're not the only one that's been here that's done this. So it's something I think you just have to step out of your comfort zone. But really, there's a lot of comforts here. There's a lot of beauty here to be seen, and a lot of fun to be had. So it's a beautiful place. If you're not sure, you can visit.
Right.
Take a tour with a
Right.
few people, and you'll see the beauty. It'll change you for sure.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Julie, I definitely appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story and letting people know that it can be a very enlightening thing for change, especially in this time and age. So I thank you for spending some time with us here at Panama Cross Talk.
It was great speaking with you. Thank you for the time.
Yes. So guys, this is Julie's story. So, make it happen. Take the action, make the change, and come check out Panama. Till next time, I'll see you again for another episode of Panama Cross Talk. See you then. Cheers.